Country that the opposition needs to speak up for the benefit of the people, of humanity, of Nigeria as a country, and for the protection and safety of our democracy. And at that level, there is a need for constant interaction among opposition elements within the country. Because at this stage now, all hands must be on deck. It's not strictly about opposing the government. It's about the fact that we need to protect and save this democracy that is endangered. It is already endangered, and to that level, we need to interact among ourselves as critical stakeholders in the body politic of Nigeria. And to that extent, we cannot be talking at cross purposes. We need to come together to fashion a way, to find a way to ensure that there's a socio-economic progress towards the development of this country. The security, all of us know the problems, we know the challenges that we are facing in the area of security, in the area of cost of living, in the area of bad governance, corruption, and the rest of that. But of course, our own limited agenda is about finding solutions to all of these in order not to bring the roof down. Because if the roof comes down, it will be to the benefit of nobody. And to that extent, our major purpose is to interact among ourselves to ensure that we protect this democracy and ensure that Nigeria as a country not only survives but succeeds. And then we cannot wait by the sideline, be critical stakeholders and be sit down, look and wait for the country to go down. We offer our advice, we offer our counsel, we say where we have to talk. We talk at the right time about tangible issues that will help our country as a nation and as a people. All of us must come together, including the media. All of us are partners in progress. So thank you for welcoming us, Chief Nwosu. We are very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
It's very important to put on record that the ADC, who is one of the most only surviving political party within the group in which all of us have been working together with over the years, is worthy of visiting. Because the ADC has been a gathering where every one of us believe that the chairman, Chief Ralph Nwosu, has been a galvanizing force in the interest of defending of the interest of democracy. We all agree that democracy at the moment now is in danger. There is a threat of annihilation, there's a threat of intimidation, there is a threat of conspiracy against democracy. And we as a collective must stand firm in order to defend our democracy. For us, Chief Ralph Nwosu and the ADC have provided us with an enabling ground for us to gather around and extrapolate this particular fact. So today, as we come together again to give a direction to our democratic tenets, it is known by any means that we are under any illusion that this particular gentleman that you have seen has led us and supported us in trying to ensure that democracy survive. We have been on the trenches of fighting for the interests of the Nigerian common person on the streets. Today, we know the challenges that we face. Whether directly or indirectly, there are political parties just like ours who have been in the trenches of this particular leadership. Whether they are doing wrong or they are doing right, we must come collectively to correct those particular ills in order to work as collective to make our democracy survive. This is just one of the major reasons in which we are here together as a collective to fight for the interests of democracy and fight for the interests of the common man and fight for the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It has been a very difficult road for Nigeria, especially because those who have been elected have not acted in the best interest of Nigeria. They have acted based on selfish reasons, and they have, in the end, pushed our people into poverty, abject poverty. The multi-dimensional poverty that exists in this country today is disheartening. When you just oppose it with the kind of resources that Nigerians have been given, Nigeria has no reason to be in this kind of condition. Nigeria has no reason where the common man cannot have 1 meal a day. Nigeria has no reason where the number of out-of-school children that we have today is what we have on one of the highest record level in Africa. So it is painful and it is disappointing to those forefathers And young people, even in NANS, who fought for this democracy to come into place in 1999. Those who lost their life. Those who traveled on the road to make sure this democracy survived. And this democracy is being trampled upon by selfish leaders, by leaders who are not considerate, by leaders who are thinking of their pocket, by leaders who are still using money, who are supposed to be cutting down cost of governance, and still using money to buy luxurious cars for themselves. By leaders who are interested in building new National Assembly complex for billions of naira when the one day can surface. And because of this multi-faceted criminal activities within governance system, we have now found ourselves in this situation where poverty, where destruction of life and property no longer have respect. It is a very simple thing that if the main primary purpose of governance is the protection of life and property. And because without the protection of life and property, you will not have, how they call it, growth. You won't have development. So if Nigerian government, those who have been elected, if they were prepared, if we do not stop this grab mentality of getting into office, this take it by force of getting into office, and let the will of the people take the front burner when it comes to electioneering, then we will continue to have a problem. Because those who are elected into governance will now start to say that they have brought themselves in, and whenever time comes again, they will reshuffle themselves by force, by fire. So Nigerians must know that the authority to put anybody in the office has been given to them in the Constitution. It is their own right. And why are we here today? We're here today to try to see, because political parties are primarily critical stakeholders in the democratic process of Nigeria. And the political party must play their role, like what the African Democratic Congress have done over 2 decades. We must know that we will stand our ground. We will look at Section 221, Section 222, and Section 229 and see how political party can be strengthened, further strengthened, and given the level of independence that they require. Because the only way multi-party democracy can grow and flourish is when elections are free, when elections are fair, and when elections are credible. And if these 3 ingredients are present in our electoral system, then it is possible to have growth and development. Because in the absence of a free and fair election, what you have will be those who have the grab mentality style of getting into governance, who do not respect the true wishes of the people. Sir, we're here today to thank you for your struggle, for standing in defense of democracy, for standing in the gap for the suffering of our people, for speaking on behalf of the masses of this country, and that this time is more critical. It's more critical that political party must look at it and say, yes, this is the time that we must come together and make sure that this country works for all, and make sure that those who are in government are held responsible for their promises, for their manifesto, and for the promises to turn around Nigeria for the good of all. If political parties don't come together, civil society can't do this. Because political, like I said in my earlier statement, are critical stakeholders in the vehicle that is called in Nigeria today, that can develop this country. Political party must have the opportunity to speak freely, participate freely, and engage freely, so that there are people we know that their voice matters, and that the development of this country, it is what the interests of the political parties are. We thank the media for being here, because Nigeria today, the poverty in our system, the mismanagement, the policy somersault, the cost of living is so high that if we don't speak, then if the poor have nowhere to go, then they will come after those in government. So it is important that we speak, and we speak truth to power, that Nigeria should start to work for our people. We are tired of telling Nigerians to be patient. We are tired of telling Nigerians to tie their belts. Why those in government are living ostentatious life, they are living very expensive life, living very, very, to the detriment of the Nigerian people. We are tired of telling Nigerians to tie their belt. We are tired of telling Nigerians to be patient. This is the time that political party must speak, and our visit here is just to say thank you, and also tell him that the way he has led the opposition over the years, that he should not relent, that this is where Nigeria needs the African Democratic Congress more. This is where Nigeria needs Chief Raf Okenwosu more. This is where Nigeria needs you to stand in that gap, so that Nigeria that we all dream of, that will be prosperous, that will bring, growth, that will bring prosperity to all our people, that Nigeria of our dream can be achieved through our collective participation in this world democratic process.
Experience and the challenges we face now so much. This time particularly is very painful because the person in charge of the entire polity and the entire country happened to be somebody who has been involved in the struggle. I've known the president for more than since 1990, when he went to the Senate, and he's been part of the struggle. When we were working hard for the military to leave the scene, he worked with us. He worked in Nadeco. Then, when the transition eventually took place, this is the first time one of the people who championed the transition, who championed the effort to get the military out, became the president. And unfortunately, this is the time that the democratic system have taken the biggest dive. It's wrong. It's wrong, Mr. President. And all we are saying is, we look around you, around the villa, around the executive, National Assembly, and the entire polity. We see that people are not using public resources for the good of the public. Rather, they've decided to convert public resources to their own private pocket. That is what is killing the polity. And you can still get it right if you take proper action. Number one, while I'm thanking you all, I mean, it appears that it's people who are not in government that are most sensitive of what government should do. And they are the ones who are now driving the nation-building process. So I want to congratulate all of you for driving the nation-building process. Instead of the people who are in government being maintained with government money. Instead of them driving the process of nation building, these my colleagues are the ones who are driving the process of nation building. And it's going to be difficult. Nigeria has become the poverty capital of the world. Before, more than 3 years ago, we call it poverty capital of the world. But the extent to which we have dived now is threatening. It's threatening. And just because of the carelessness of people who have taken over government. But I believe that now outside government, we have started our consultation and conversations, that we are working towards rebuilding the system and putting the whole thing right. But I wish also, where we are doing this, that the people in government, headed by our the number one citizen, Mr. President, there's need for national conversation, and such conversation that will bring all stakeholders on the table. That is part of the problems we are facing. Because once some few people get elected, especially now that people most of the people who are there got into, they see the political party, government offices as business. And with that mentality, they can't go too far. You see these people who are outside government, who have been in this system, sacrificing everything, making all effort for the country, for purpose of nation building. Time to call for national conversation, bringing all the political parties, and national conversation is not for elected people now, because elected people have failed. The elected people should constitute possibly 10%, while a lot of other stakeholders, political parties, civil societies, and that's the critical stakeholders who are holding this country. The people who are holding this country now are not the people who are in government. Most of the people who are in the government are the people who are causing the big problem we have. It's so scandalous when you hear that when Nigerians cannot find food to eat, 90% of people who are in government fly outside Nigeria to go and spend the kind of money that is you cannot imagine on health care, on buying foreign food. When the constituencies, all the constituent members are having difficulty with health care, one or two persons in government will spend the money that entire state will spend to have quality health care in their state. And it appears you're not seeing this. So I thank you again for making an effort to come. The journey we have started, by the grace of God, we must end it well. But I call on this government to please, this is time to call national conversation. And the national conversation, don't discriminate about, oh, this is a party in power, this party in government. Party in government has failed. That's why it's like the nation is crippled. Call all the parties and critical stakeholders for a major conversation so that we can all come up with a solution, because the situation where we find ourselves now is very, very, very threatening, with riots, not just even a riot, with hunger in every home. Hunger in 99.5% of the homes in Nigeria. It will not take too long for this whole thing to burst. Therefore, we expect people at the helm of the polity to take action. And the action is call stakeholders together. If you are lacking in ideas, there are a lot of ideas. All the people seated here are machine full of ideas. And a lot of other persons who unfortunately are not here. Where we are now is tragic, more deadly. Therefore, the urgency for that conversation. The conversation will take multi-dimensional, composition, and so on. Much, because we are going to talk about the political arrangement, and we are going to talk about food. Food. If I give you, I want to tell you something. If one local government in this country, if we have a conversation about our food and agriculture, one local government in this country can produce enough for Africa. One local government. I happen to be a part of the Vermont state in America. I went to school there. I did my graduate program there. Vermont is less than 500 and something thousand persons, a whole state. But Vermont, as a state, is the number two source of apple as some form of apple cream. If you remove Canada as a country in the whole world, Vermont, with only less than 507 something population, number 2 manufacturer of that in the whole world. 2 of our local governments can take over the world on one commodity and feed them. So we need to have more conversations on how do we want our states to work. How do we take care of this current ravaging hunger? How do we correct the mistake that happened with one night, one executive get to power and say fuel subsidy gone? That's recklessness. And such recklessness by one individual, because you have the mandate, can throw the whole country into chaos. And that's what we're having now. We need conversations around this.